this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 movies or TV series that I would like to see from the Potterverse. Number 5. Starting at number 5, I would love to see a Eye Moody or type of detective show that takes place in the heart of the First Wizarding War. Moody was the best Auror of his time, and half the cells of Azkaban are filled with Death Eaters that he caught. It would be so badass to follow a Prime Moody as he tracks down and fights all those dark wizards that we've heard so much about. For example, there could be a scene where he tracks down and defeats a Death Eater, then uses his hair to make Polyjuice Potion, and meets up with other Death Eaters like Snape or Lucius Malfoy to try and get information on Voldemort's movements. We would also get to see how Moody dealt with being an Auror for the Ministry and an agent for the Order of the Phoenix. In the Second Wizarding War, the Ministry considered it base treachery to work for the Order. But how is that dynamic different in the First Wizarding War? With Moody being in the Order, we would also get to see some of our favorite characters such as James, Lily, Sirius, Neville's parents, and Dumbledore. It would be so cool to sit in on a meeting of the First Order of the Phoenix where they're talking about specific things Voldemort is doing to try and take over the Wizarding world and their strategy for stopping him. I would also love an episode where Dumbledore sends Moody on a mission with James and Sirius, and they're just messing around the whole time while Moody is trying to be super serious. There's so many cool things that could be done with a Moody or detective show like this, and I'd love to be able to pitch it to Warners. Number 4. In the 4th spot, I would love to see a movie trilogy on the 4 founders of Hogwarts. As we do with our leaders, Wizardkind has made the founders these one-sided legends where 3 of them are infallible heroes and Slytherin is just this straight-up villain. But, as we heard from the Grey Lady and Griphook, Godric Gryffindor and Rowena Ravenclaw were not as great as everyone thinks. So it would be cool to see these characters really fleshed out to get a better perspective on the good and the bad in all of them. It'd be interesting to see the reason why they decided to build Hogwarts and what they wanted it to be. Is the Hogwarts of today running the way that the founders hoped it would? Or is it completely different from what they imagined? I think the first film should tell the story of the state of the Wizarding world before Hogwarts was built. We would get an insight to why the founders felt it was necessary to build a wizarding school. Was there a constant war between wizards? Was a lack of education leading to dangerous accidents throughout the world? After this, we could get a meeting between the 4 founders where they discuss where Hogwarts should be, what it should look like, the reasons for the hidden passageways, the moving stairs, and places like the Room of Requirement. It would end with a half-built Hogwarts, and we'd get to see some of our favorite locations in the castle being built. The second movie would start off with a fully built Hogwarts in its first ever year. It would have a big-time Sorcerer's Stone vibe as we see the first sorting, first classes, and students discovering all the hidden magic of Hogwarts. There would also be no rivalry between the students at first, but then Slytherin would teach its students that pureblood wizards were better than everyone else. This would build conflict between the students, and as Godric Gryffindor and Salazar Slytherin begin to clash, Hogwarts becomes a low-key battleground as fighting breaks out in all the corridors. The third movie would take place a few years later when the fighting is at its peak. We would see Slytherin building the Chamber of Secrets, and there would be a final conflict that would lead to Slytherin leaving the school forever. Number 3. In third place, I would like to see a 3-part movie covering the First Wizarding War from the perspectives of Voldemort and Dumbledore. The first movie would cover Voldemort's rise to power, and we would see his recruitment of Death Eaters, Giants, Dementors, and his first steps into the public eye. We would also see Dumbledore's side of things, how he created the Order of the Phoenix, why he created the Order instead of just working alongside the Ministry, and what his plan of attack was against Voldemort. In the second film, we would see Voldemort at the peak of his powers as he begins to take a tight hold over the Wizarding world. This would take place in the time that Sirius, James, Lupin, and Pettigrew joined the Order. The infusion of young talent would breathe fresh life into the Order. The chemistry between the Marauders, alongside Dumbledore's prodigious skill, gives the Order a huge boost as they try to withstand the seemingly unbeatable Voldemort. Voldemort would become extremely annoyed with the effectiveness of the Marauders, and he would make them his main target. While on a mission together, Voldemort ambushes the Marauders, and a battle ensues. James, Sirius, and Lupin are all seriously injured and knocked unconscious. Voldemort goes to finish Wormtail off, and Pettigrew begs for his life. Voldemort laughs and says to Wormtail, "If you turn spy for me, I will spare your life." Wormtail agrees, but at that moment, Dumbledore appears, and a fight ensues between Dumbledore and Voldemort. Dumbledore gains the upper hand, and Voldemort flees. But now, he has a perfectly planted spy in Wormtail. The third movie would begin with Dumbledore hearing Trelawney's prophecy, and Snape relaying it to Voldemort. Dumbledore would put the Potters into hiding, and we would see the ensuing hunt for the Potters, Sirius making Wormtail the Secret Keeper, Wormtail's betrayal, and then the movie would end with the Potters' murder. So everyone, those are the first 3 on my top 5 list of Potterverse spin-offs that I want made. If you want me to make a part 2 to this video, where I go over my top 2 spin-offs that I want to see, then please let me know in the comments section below and by throwing a like on the video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because I've got plenty more content on my channel and much more to come.